Today I will be talking about patient-oriented optimization of oxygen delivery therapy. Oxygen is an organic compound which is required for all living organelles to survive. So before going in details regarding the oxygen delivery system, what is meant by optimization? Optimization is nothing but what is the make the best or most effective use of resources. Whatever resources we are using for the patient, it should be effective and the outcome will be the best for that. So introduction, why oxygen is needed. Oxygen is needed to support the cell metabolism. It converts the food into energy. It also in acute illnesses like respiratory distress. Then hypoxia. Hypoxia is a low tissue oxygenation which can occur due to failure of any system which deliver and circulate the oxygen, for example lungs. Then definition. Of course, oxygen is a colorless and odorless gas that people needs to, all living organelles needs to breathe. It's a non-metallic element which is present 21% in the earth atmosphere. So what is the purposes of oxygen? Oxygen therapy to relieve the dyspnea, that is labor breath or shortness of the breath, to prevent the hypoxemia. Hypoxemia is decrease the oxygen level in the blood, and to prevent the hypoxia. Hypoxia is decrease the oxygen level in the tissue, and once the oxygen level is decreased in the tissue, so we'll start the oxygen and to treat the hypoxia. The next is source of oxygen in hospitals. Wall outlet, that is centralized oxygen system. Oxygen cylinders, when we are shifting patient from one department to another department, we are using oxygen cylinders. Portable or ambulatory oxygen delivery system is mainly used in the home. When the patient chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases patient, they require the oxygen, and that time they are using the portable oxygen. This is the oxygen wall outlet. In each hospital we are having the centralized oxygen system which has the white color pipe. That means this is the oxygen supply, and which is having the flow meter also. This is the portable oxygen cylinder. This is ambulatory oxygen cylinder. When we are shifting patient from one department to another department, always use the trolley when we are shifting patient from one department to another to prevent the occupational hazards. And this is the portable oxygen cylinder. When patient is a chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases at the home, they are using these oxygens. Then indication for oxygen delivery system. First one is a COPD, that is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and emphysema. Emphysema is the affecting of the alveoli of the lungs. Then acute respiratory diseases. Cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis when there is an abnormal thickening of the mucosa into the lungs. Then lung cancer. Shock in case of burns. Anemia. Bronchiectasis. Pulmonary hypertension. Severe heart diseases, for example myocardial infarction. In myocardial infarction there is a ischemia of the myocardium, so require the oxygen. During CPR, that is pulmonary resuscitation, and during anesthesia for surgery. These all are the indications where you are using the oxygen. Then FiO2. What is mean by FiO2? FiO2 is nothing but the concentration of oxygen that person inhales. In our atmosphere there is a normal 21% oxygen is there. In that 78% of nitrogen and 1% of trace element, that is argon, carbon dioxide, neon, helium and methylene, that is FiO2. Then SpO2. What is mean by SpO2? SpO2 stands for peripheral oxygen saturation, which we will see on the pulse oximeter. Another common more reliable measures of blood oxygen levels, which is you will see in the arterial blood gas and venous blood gas, that is SaO2. Then this is the blood oxygen levels on the pulse oximeter chart. When there is 95 to 100%, that is normal blood oxygen level. 91 to 95% concerning blood oxygen level. Then below 90% it is low blood oxygen level. 80 to 85% when low oxygen saturation affects your brain, and 67% is cyanosis. At that time you require to patient put on HFNC or on ventilator. Then oxygen therapy. Whenever you are starting the oxygen therapy, it should be safe and it should be most effective for the patient. Always remember that as oxygen is a prescription drug, it should be written on the doctor's order. Then prescription should include what flow rate you want to start the oxygen and which level you have to start the oxygen. Delivery system is low level or high level delivery system. Duration, at what duration you want to start the oxygen, and instruction for monitoring, that is your vital parameters every half an hourly or every hourly. Then oxygen delivery systems. Oxygen delivery systems are nasal cannula, simple mask, we'll go details one by one, partial rebreather mask, non-rebreather mask, venturi mask, oxygen hood, oxygen tent usually used for the hyperbaric oxygen therapy, ambu bag, HFNC, CPAP and BiPAP. So these all the articles, this is nasal cannula, this is simple face mask, face tent and oximizer not in use, but venturi mask, non-breather mask, high flow nasal cannula, that is HFNC, BiPAP, these all are the usually commonly used in the hospital settings. This is nasal cannula, which is in a plastic which has two small bores which insert into the patient nerves, and this is the tubing which is attached to the wall's oxygen outlet, and which gives, it is used for the short term or long term therapy, usually COPD patient, and it is the base with stable patient who require low amount of oxygen. The delivery of nasal cannula oxygen is 1 liter to 6 liter, and it is also you can, if you want humidifier, you can use humidifier air for this oxygenation. Then this is the correct position how to put the nasal cannula. You should see, this is the position of the nasal cannula. This part should come down. If it ups, then whatever you want to deliver the oxygen, it will not assess your goal and the patient will feel uncomfortable. This is the proper position. This is nasal proms and from the oxygen source where you are attaching to the oxygen tubing. Then advantages, it can provide 24 to 40% of oxygen concentration. It delivers 1 liter to 6 liter per minute. It is convenient patient can talk, even he can eat. Then maybe drying to nurse if level is about 4 liter. It is easy to use, low cost and disposable. Then disadvantages, easily dislodge. If you are not fixing the cannula properly, it is very common that dislodgement is happen. Then whatever patients required oxygen, it will not go. Then it is a non-effective is patient. If the patient is taking mouth breathe and you are starting oxygen with the cannula, then patient will go in hypoxia. Then has blocked nostrils or there is any tumor in the nose. If the patient is having epistaxis, then deviated septum, then this cannula is not been used. The second one is the types of mask. The simple face mask, that is simple oxygen mask. Then partial rebreather mask, the non-rebreather mask and the venturi mask. The simple mask fits over the nose. It covers your nose and mouth also. It consists exhalation ports also. Whenever you are applying the simple mask, you should see that exhalation port should be open. From that patient exhales the carbon dioxide, it goes out. So there will be no mixing of the oxygen. Those holes should always remain open. The mask is held in place by an elastic around the back of the head. This is the proper position. You can see the metal piece which conforms to shape of the nose. Whenever you are applying the putting the oxygen mask, that this metal piece should be pressed firmly, it should not be tight. Then exhalation port, it should be open. So when the patient exhales the air, it should go out. The strap should be proper and it should not be too tight or too loose. If it is loose, then oxygen will leak. And this is the tubing where you are attaching for the oxygen source. These are the 3 types. See, first one is the which has the clip, which has the exhalation port also, but the in middle one, when the patient had an ophthalmic surgery, the shape of this mask is different, so it will not go till the eye level, and this one is for the child face mask. So always see that whenever you are fixing the mask, it should not cover the patient eye also, and if the patient is having any skin rashes or something, you have to put some like gauze piece and all, then fix the mask, otherwise there will be a wound. Then advantages, it gives 40 to 60% of oxygen concentration. The flow rate for simple oxygen mask is 6 to 10 liter per minute, used to provide moderate oxygen concentration. and it is efficiency is depends how you put the mask. If mask is loose or there is exhalation ports are not open, then however you want to give the oxygen, it will be leak and the patient will go in hypoxia and you will not achieve your goal. The disadvantages: when the patient is on face mask, it is difficult to eat when the mask is on. If you will take out the mask, patient will go in hypoxia. Then mask may be confining of some patient who feel claustrophobia. Claustrophobia is nothing but the patient will have fear that they are going to put me on face mask with the mask on. And when the patient is having the Ryle tube, that time also it very difficult to put on face mask because there will be a chances of leaking of the oxygen. Next one is aerosol nebulizer face masks. Whenever you want to give the only oxygen, never use the nebulizer mask because it will give you low flow variable and it will not have that capacity what oxygen mask is having capacity, and it is also connected to the nebulizer. You cannot connect directly to the mask. Then it delivers water drug in aerosol form. Whenever you are giving nebulization, it will give water and drug in aerosol form, and it will mix. It is maximum FiO2 is 50%. So whenever you are giving only oxygen, you have to put oxygen mask only, not the nebulization mask. The partial rebreathing mask. Partial rebreathing mask has a two-way wall between the this is bag where it has two-way wall. So whatever patient exhales and inhales, it goes into the bag. So some breath comes back into the reservoir bag. And this is non-rebreather mask. We are calling high concentration mask also. Is device used in emergency to deliver the oxygen. It deliver 95 to 100% oxygen. It consists of a reservoir bag that is filled with a high concentration of oxygen, and it is attached around the patient's head using an elastic band. This is an elastic band and covers the mouth and the nose. Then it delivers about 60 to 80% of oxygen at rate of 10 to 15 liters of minute. They quickly deliver oxygen and are used in situation where the person has very low blood oxygen level, that is hypoxemia and hypoxia also. It has one-way wall, so the exhale air goes out into the atmosphere. There will be no any mixing of exhale air and inhale air. This is the proper example of partial rebreather mask and the non-rebreather mask. If you see, this is in the wall, in the mask and the bag, there are two valves there. One is exhale gas and one is inspired gas. This mix inspired and expired gas which will not give you the 100% oxygen, whereas high concentration mask or non-breathing mask which is having only one wall which gives you 100% oxygen, which has only the exhale gas here. It is a one-way wall. So this is the partial rebreather mask and this is a non-rebreather mask. This is also called as high concentration mask. Then this is the differentiation. If simple mask is there, what was the first one we had seen, which will give you 5 to 10 liter per minute of oxygen. FiO2 is 40 to 60%, which doesn't have reservoir bag, whereas partial and non-rebreathing mask having the reservoir bag. It should not be used for the this thing, nebulizer or venture port. It is accepted FiO2. Consider air mixing and no use of mouth because you are covering the nose and mouth. So if the patient wants to eat or have something or patient want to talk, you have to take out the mask. Then partial mask, it gives 5 to maximum to keep the bag inflamed. It is simple mask plus reservoir bag, whereas simple mask doesn't have reservoir bag, whereas partial mask have the reservoir bag, and it is higher FiO2 about 80%, and it is less room air mixing, no use of nebulizer and venturi mask. Then non-breathing mask, it is also called as high concentration mask, 5 to maximum to keep the bag inflamed. It is simple mask plus reservoir bag plus one-way wall, and it is high FiO2, negligible to room air mixing. There will be no any exhale and inhale air mixing, and this is not known use of mouth, venture or nebulizer. Then next is venturi mask. Venturi mask, this is the venturi mask which is made up of a small plastic which also covers the face and nose of the patient. But the advantage of this mask is which is having 15 centimeter of long extension tube where you can move the patient Then oxygen are channeled up to into the mix. This is the color coding of Venturi mask. The sky blue color, which will 2 liter per minute, then FiO2 is 24%, whereas white color is 28%, 4 liter per minute, whereas your orange color, which FiO2 is 31%, which delivers 6 liter per minute. Yellow color, which is FiO2 is 35%, which delivers 8 liter per minute, whereas red color, which gives 40% and which delivers 10 liter per minute, and green color, which is 60% of FiO2, which delivers 15 liter per minute. This is the exact picture of Venturi mask, which has the exhale gas port is there. This is a mask strap where you are fixing the mask. This is the exhalation port. Then flexible tube, which is 15 centimeter long, which inhale mixes the 100% of oxygen in the room air. And which this is having the removable adapter. When you want to change the adapter, you can change from here, and according to that you can deliver the oxygen to the patient. Then advantages of Venturi mask is it deliver most precise, means accurate oxygen. Whatever oxygen concentration you want to deliver, it delivers the most precise oxygen concentration, and it does not dry the mucosa because it is having the mixing of air. At disadvantages, uncomfortable, same claustrophobia, patient will have claustrophobia, risk of skin irritation, and it will also produce the respiratory depression in COPD patients. So for COPD patient, usually we start the low level of oxygen system, that is with the nasal cannula, and patient with an high oxygen concentration. Then oxygen hoods. Oxygen hoods are the cylindrical boxes which are enclosed to infants or small child's heads, and very rarely for the geriatric patients. It also provides up to 80 to 90% of oxygen, which has the good humidification and control temperature. What hoods we are using? Then this is the oxygen hood, which has the exhalation, one port also is there, and which has the attached for the oxygen system also. From here you can put an oxygen tubing where we can deliver 8 to 10 liters of oxygen. It's an acrodynamic design, allow consistent and even flow of oxygen to baby. It maintains the stable temperature. You don't want to maintain the temperature if the patient is on phototherapy also. You can put an oxygen hood. So pediatric patients temperature also maintained and oxygen saturation also maintained. It is fully transparent, so you can see the baby. Where the baby is having any dyspnea or anything, you can see. Then oxygen concentration 80 to 90%, which can achieve flow rates of 10 to 15 liters. This is high flow oxygen level. Then this is the oxygen tent where you can change the position of the baby without disturbances or without disconnecting of the oxygen. Then oxygen tent. Oxygen tent is usually used in the hyperbaric oxygen therapy. An oxygen tent is a bendable piece of clear plastic. See, this is clear plastic which hold whole baby, and that plastic has stuck into the under the mattresses, so the baby will get the oxygen. Child can move around in the bed also, and it humidified prevents the loss of water from the child's body as he breathes. Then AMBU bag. What is the full form of AMBU? This is artificial manual breathing unit. It's a self-refilling bag, is also called as the bag wall mask unit, with a 1 to 1.5 liter of capacity. When we press the AMBU bag and release it, it's automatic fill. Used for artificial respiration, and when there is a CPR call, we are using the AMBU bag till the patient get intubated or till the patient get shifted to other like ICU. Is effective for ventilating and oxygenating the intubated patient, allowing both spontaneous and artificial respiration. This is the AMBU bag which have the reservoir bag, which is also having the tubing which attached to the oxygen sources, which has the face mask where we are putting for the patient. Then this is a different AMBU bag, like pediatric neonate and AMBU bag, pediatric AMBU bag, and adult AMBU bag. So this is the size. Then bellow capacity, what AMBU bag is having the capacity, and oxygen reservoir capacity, and face mask, what face mask we have to use when we are using AMBU bag. For adult, the bellow capacity is the 1500 ml, and for the oxygen reservoir is 2600 ml. 4 number mask should be used for that. Adult medium means like age of like 25 to 30 years. This is old adult. For bellow capacity 1000 ml and oxygen reservoir capacity is 2600 ml. The mask size is 3. Adult small like toddler or school going children. The bellow capacity is 750 ml and the oxygen reservoir capacity is same 2600, where the face mask size it changes is 2. Then child, the 500 ml of bellow capacity, then 2600 same the oxygen reservoir capacity, the face mask size will change, that is 1. Then infant, of course the capacity will raise 250 ml and the oxygen reservoir is 600 ml and the face mask size is 0 for the infant. Then this is T-piece. When it is used an end of endotracheal tube when weeing from the ventilator, it provides accurate FiO2. It also provides a good humidity. Then this is the main thing, that is we have the flow meter. This is the flow meter. This is the flow meter in which we are adjusting the oxygen 2 liter, 4 liter, 6 liter. This is the pressure gauge. Pressure gauge is nothing but the measurement of the oxygen cylinder, how much oxygen is there in your cylinder. This is a screw cap, pressure reducing valve, then safety valve. This is the oxygen in pipe. This is humidifying cup. Oxygen output where we are putting the this thing delivering of the oxygen, and this is flow adjuster. We are adjusting the flow. This is the humidifier. Whenever you are using the humidifier, there are 2 lines will be there, minimum and maximum. Whatever water, you should use only distilled water as a humidifier, not to use the sterile water or simple water also, because in sterile water organic and inorganic material are there, whereas in distilled water there is a sterilization, there is no any organic or inorganic material, it is a sterile, pure sterile water. And if you are using the sterile water or normal saline, there will be a crystallization occurs, and when it goes to the patient, there will be a disturbance, it will be there. So always use distilled water when you are giving humidified oxygen, and it should be changed within 24 hours. Then this is the oxygen cylinder. What is the capacity of oxygen cylinder in oxygen? This is the oxygen cylinder what we have in hospital. So this is the, in every hospital or there is a depend upon the size of the oxygen cylinder. So each oxygen cylinder, it approximately 10 to 15 kg, which has 1300 liter to 1500 liter oxygen in that. If you are giving 5 liter oxygen per minute, that means you are using in a hour 320 liter of oxygen. So once you are shifting patient to another department with the high concentration mask, that means 10 liter of oxygen. So whenever you are shifting, you have to see that oxygen cylinder should be filled, and it should not be half empty also. So whenever you are shifting patient to another department, so patient will achieve their goal and you will not face the problem that oxygen cylinder got finished in between. So whenever you are giving high concentration or high oxygen, that is 10 liter per minute, oxygen cylinder should be filled. This is the oxygen key. Whenever you are shifting patient to another department, we have to use oxygen, open the oxygen seal, use the oxygen key to open the oxygen cylinder. This is the main use of oxygen key. Then HFNC. HFNC is a high flow nasal cannula oxygenation, is heated and humidified system. This is the HFNC machine that allows the prescribed fraction of inspired oxygen, that is FiO2 level, to be delivered at very high flow rate oxygen when the patient is going in cyanosis. Before shifting to the patient to the ICU or before CPR team arrives in your ward, you have to start patient on HFNC. So there will be no any brain damage or no any myocardial tissue damage. So HFNC is carried out using the air oxygen blender, active humidifier, single heated tube and nasal cannula. HFNC can warm 98. HFNC deliver the warm humidifier oxygen to the patient. So patient, when the patient is having dyspnea or whether labored breath, that will decrease when you are giving oxygen through HFNC, which can decrease airway inflammation, maintain the mucociliary function, and it also improves the mucus clearance. It reduces the calorie expenditure. When the patient is having dyspnea, patient will use the more calories to breathe. So they will be decrease the calorie expenditure in acute respiratory failure. Even though patient is having dyspnea, it will decrease. Patient will have tachypnea. When you are starting on HFNC, progressively it will decrease the tachypnea also. So the main intent use of HFNC to precise oxygen delivery. Precise is the accurate oxygen delivery. Whatever you want, 10 liter or 15 liter, you will deliver the proper oxygen to the patient. It improves the gas changes because it gives the heat and humidifier oxygen to the patient, and it creates the reservoir with high FiO2 in the nasal cavity. So patient will not have any dryness in the nasal cavity because it is having the humidifier and heated oxygen. So this is the clear picture outlet of this is nasal cannula, where you have a large hold cannula with ergonomic design for convenient application of higher flow, because we are giving 10 to 15 liter oxygen through the HFNC. So if it is a small bore oxygen, it will not deliver the proper oxygen. So we want large bore. Then oxygen input with integrated mixer and analyzer. This is the machine. Then built-in temperature sensor that eliminates the external cables. This is the cable where we are attaching to the HFNC. This HFNC circuits comes, and where we are using the nasal cannula. So this is the breathable film delivery hose, reduce the fluid condension, and also heated respiratory hose. Whenever you are starting on HFNC, if you will touch that tube, you will feel that tube has heated. Then this is integrated flow generated up to 60 liter per minute. This is HFNC. Then this is nasal cannula. This is usually used for the adult patient, and this nasal cannula is used for the pediatric patients. This is the proper position how you have to fix the if you are putting patient on HFNC, you have to put in proper way, and there is a sticking also. If the patient delicate skin and all is there, you have to check that skin and then fix the cannula, so there will be no any dislodgement of the nasal cannula. If there is any dislodgement, then the pressure will that machine will show that there is no deliver the proper oxygenation, high pressure is there. Then this is for the adult patient cannula and the nasal cannula and the proper fixing. Then BiPAP and CPAP, it is also known as bilevel positive airway pressure, is a form of non-invasive positive airway pressure. Usually this is used for the low oxygenation level and for the COPD patients. It is considered non-invasive because breathing tube is not inserted into the airway to deliver the pressure, and BiPAP is having the both pressure, positive and negative pressure. A mask is on which is connected with the tubing to the BiPAP ventilator. Then indications for CPAP and BiPAP. CPAP is a continuous positive airway pressure, respiratory distress, and usually the respiratory failure COPD patient. Hypoxemia secondary to CHF, that is CHF, then acute pulmonary edema, pneumonia, asthma, COPD. Sleep apnea is the disturbances of the sleep. Usually it occurs in the night. The breathe is stopped and again restart. It is usually occurring patients who are obese patient and who is having the acute respiratory distress and the COPD patients, and it's usually seen in male patients. Then CPAP is patient without respiratory failure, and whether BiPAP is using patients with impending or existing to the respiratory failure. This is a clear picture of CPAP and BiPAP, where CPAP is having the constant state pressure during inhale and pressure relief during exhale. It is having only one valve, whereas BiPAP is having two valves when the patient is inhale, and it is also having the secondary valve which constant the set pressure during the exhale also. So BiPAP stands for continuous positive airway pressure. It provides a single set pressure and generally more affordable to the patient. It is not as great for accommodating changes in the breathing, whereas BiPAP stands for bilevel positive airway pressure, which has the two valve, that's why it's bilevel. Two distinct pressure setting for inhale and exhale also. Then often used to treat more complex sleep, that is sleep apnea and breathing disorder for COPD patients also. Then oxygen delivery devices flow level, that is low flow oxygen delivery devices and high flow. High flow is there are many types, that is low flow and high flow. These are the nasal cannula is low flow because we are giving only 1 to 6 liter, which gives 24 to 40% of FiO2, whereas face mask you can give the flow, we can start with 5 to 10 liter, not more than that, 35 to 60% which will give you FiO2, whereas face stent we are not using face stent also, which gives 5 to 15 liter per minute, and which FiO2 is 35 to 50%, whereas high flow oximizer which gives 1 to 15 liter per minute and FiO2 will be 24 to 45%, whereas Venturi mask comes in low flow also and high flow also because it starts with the 2 liter per minute, so 2 to 15 liter, and which gives the FiO2 you to 24 to 50%. Non-breather mask is 10 to 15 liter, and which is also 15 to FiO2 is 50 to 90%. Non-breather is a high concentration mask. And high flow nasal cannula, that is your HFNC, which gives you 50 to 60 per liter per minute, which gives you 30 to 100% of FiO2. So if the patient is having cyanosis, you want to shift the patient, by the time you can start on HFNC till patient shifting to the ICU. So side effects and complication of oxygen therapy. Oxygen toxicity, retrolental fibroplasia. Retrolental fibroplasia is nothing but there is a blindness which occurs in the premature baby, because premature baby when they are cyanosis or we are shifting to the NICU and starting with the high oxygen level, and baby will have the retrolental fibroplasia, that is the oxygen complication. Absorption atelectasis is nothing but the collapse of the lungs, which is usually seen in COPD patient because they are prolonged in oxygen level. Signs and symptoms of oxygen toxicity, non-productive cough. When there is no, if you are not using proper resources, even though you are starting on oxygen, patient will feel that productive cough and patient will have cough, nausea and vomiting, substernal chest pain because of labored breath, fatigue, sore throat, headache, dyspnea and nasal congestion. These all signs and symptoms of oxygen toxicity. Then what is nursing responsibility when there is administration of oxygen? Whenever there is starting of oxygen, you have to check the patient's name, which patient you want to start the oxygen, of course bed number, confirm diagnosis, need of oxygen therapy, why you want to start an oxygen, whether patient is having hypoxia, hypoxemia, dyspnea or any other respiratory problem, assess cyanosis, you have to see whether patient is having tachypnea, bradycardia, monitor for results of ABG where you will get to know whether patient is having hypoxemia, and check the oxygen is properly humidified or not. If you want to give humidified oxygen, you have to give humidified, otherwise for low level oxygen level there is no need of humidification. Only the high level, that is HFNC we are using humidification. Always remember that whenever you are starting with the HFNC with humidification, not to attach the normal saline bottle to the for the humidification, because crystallization will occur and there will be a crystallization, then patient will not get the proper oxygen. Then don't forget to document what things you want to document. Date and time of oxygen started. Before starting the oxygen, what is the saturation of the patient, what is the condition of the patient. You have to chart the vital parameters also. Then only you have to start, and at what time you had started the oxygen, what level you have to started the oxygen, and which device you had used, that is nasal cannula, or you had used the simple mask, or you had started on high concentration mask, that is. Then oxygen delivery system, reason why you had started oxygen, whether after any procedure patient comes to the ward and they feel breathless, that time also we starting the oxygen. Whether patient had hypoxia because of the disease condition or because of any procedure, or because of any patient had high grade fever and patient is going in shock, for that what reason you had started oxygen. Oxygen concentration and flow rate, what flow rate you had started on oxygen. Patient observation, of course you will see the patient, whether patient will have dyspnea or patient will have any tachypnea. After starting also oxygen, patient is comfortable or otherwise he is getting another problem. And vital parameters, of course you will check half an hourly or 1 hourly. Thank you. Any queries?
Thank you, Ratna. It was a very well informed session.